Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. So it's that time of week again. It's our usual Friday night live, but we've not been live for a few weeks. So we're just catching up with everything, getting back on track. Hopefully, we can get up to date with where everyone's at and where everything's going on. So we're just live streaming on TikTok and on YouTube. So if you want to come in for a chat, then you're more than welcome to on either platform. So let's see who comes in and joins us. So Sean, how are you doing, mate? Thanks very much for coming in. Hope all's good with you. Gardening, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. You're reading Maghrib a little bit late. Yeah. So how is everything going with all of you guys? Hope all's well with you. Let's see who comes in over on TikTok. We've got a few people coming in. Guys, hit that like as you're coming in. That'll be really good. Yeah, we've been really good, really busy over the week, so that's why we've not been live pretty much through the 6-week holidays. I mean, first of all came, school holidays, time to spend some time with the kids. But then I took on this project of renovating my roof and changing everything on my roof. So it took me a lot of effort to get that done. Yeah, it was a bit of an epic. If you followed the TikTok videos, then you'd have seen that it was a bit of an epic mission to try and get that whole roof changed and get it converted. And we finally done it. Alhamdulillah, it was a massive project that I undertook, and just between the family, we got it done. Yeah, I am tired. I won't lie, I'm tired. Just need to catch up on some sleep. Hopefully this weekend will give me a chance to get some sleep. So what's going on? But tell me, Denise, how are you doing? Thank you very much for coming in. Hope you're keeping well. We've got a fair few people coming in. Brandon's Outdoor Adventures, how are you doing, mate? Long time no see. Hope all's good with you. Hope life's treating you well. Give us a bit of an update on how you're keeping and how life is with you. So I know it's a bit of a weird question, but what tafsir of the Quran do you recommend? Depends on what language you're reading in. If you're reading in English or in Arabic. Don't crop me now. How are you doing, Rachel? Hope you're keeping well. Hope everything's good with you. So in English, Mariful Quran by Mufti Shafi Usmani. That's one of the best tafsirs that you're going to get in English. Yeah. So Mimi Susu, hope all's well from Florida. What's the weather like over there at the moment? We're having thunderstorms right now. Today's been one of those really weird days, so it's been really sunny for a few minutes, and then half an hour later it's pouring down with rain, and then half an hour later it's really sunny again. So it's been a really strange thought on yeah, it's been a really strange day for the weather. What are your thoughts on Liz Truss, if you don't mind me asking? If it's okay, you don't want to talk about politics. I do normally steer clear of politics on here, but when it comes to Liz Truss, I don't have many thoughts. I think she's going to be worse than Boris Johnson. Simple as that. She's going to be something like a pound shop Maggie. Yeah. You're also having thunderstorms over in Florida. It's been strange here because we had a real heat wave and almost drought conditions, and now it started to rain, and we're getting real heavy amounts of rain, and it's quite really heavy rain. I've seen some pictures of places around the UK where they're having a month's rainfall in a few hours, and places are looking flooded. My grass looks great now, though. See, yeah, I completely agree with that. My grass is looking quite good. It's quite overgrown. It's not been trimmed for a while, so we need to get that cut back. Hopefully this weekend is going to be a lot of catching up, getting the chicken house cleaned up, getting some chicken compost harvested, getting the garden tidied up. We did a big harvest of veg just now, so baskets full of aubergines, beans, tomatoes, all sorts of stuff that we've just really picked out. It'll need to do my potatoes as well, so probably tomorrow will be the time when I harvest my potatoes. Most of my potato plants have died back, and they've died back quite, yeah. They really struggled this year, the potatoes, just because of that lack of rain. They just really struggled. They just really struggled to get going. A harvest video would be good. So harvest video is coming on Sunday. So we've managed to keep sort of back on track since last Sunday. We're releasing videos again. We just needed that break. There was just too much to do while I was working on the roof and stuff. So hopefully there's a harvest video coming for you this week. Come on, Uncle, you can on Saturday. No, my day for videos has always been Sunday. It used to be Saturday, but because people have watched the live stream on Friday, and then I put a video out on Saturday, and the live stream gets killed because people don't watch the live stream. Some people like to watch the repeats of the live stream. So because of that, we don't live stream, or we stop releasing videos on Saturday because they don't do as well. So that's why I changed to Sunday. Well, let me just fiddle with that camera. There we go. Now I've got it. Okay, so where else? So as a Christian with a passion for growing, I love finding ways in which Scripture talks about cultivation. Do you link between your own theology and growing food that motivates you? There is a big link between Islam and growing. I mean, one of the Harith, which is a farmer, there's a lot of mention of the farmer and how being productive is something that's a valued asset, especially in the Hadith. Surprisingly, our potatoes are pretty good. We've done a harvest video too. Oh, wicked! See, I had so many plans this summer. I wanted to go out visiting people. I mean, you were on my mind of places to visit with the family, and taking on this roof just took on a completely different dimension. I thought it'd take me a couple of weeks and I'd be done, but I started on the 10th of August, and it finished right the way through. I think it was on the 4th of September I finished it, or the 3rd of September I finished it. There's still one tile that I'm not happy with, one of the ridge cuts that I'm not happy with, so I'm gonna get up there tomorrow and just tidy it up and make sure that it's properly done. Yeah, so that roof just completely took me off on a completely different tandem. So Rafia Parveen is joined us over on TikTok. Hope you're keeping well. Thanks very much for coming in. So fire away with any questions that you have as well. Where are we? No problem. You go do your wudu and read your namaz. Wa alaikum assalam. Laura, hope you're keeping well. Jim, how are you doing, mate? Thanks very much for coming in. Doing well for potatoes and tomatoes, cabbages, eating alive, courgettes, and leaves but no courgettes. We've had a bad year for courgettes. I think there's what I'm noticing is there's been a real topsy-turvy in plants. So the cold-loving plant, cabbages, brassicas, pretty much all the brassicas, lettuces, these have struggled. Courgettes have struggled. One of my beds just didn't produce at all this year, so I've had one bed that has just completely not produced anything, which is a real disappointment. I mean, even potatoes should have done well there, but yeah, even the potatoes didn't grow. So it's a bit of a strange one. But there's other beds, like one bed I set up last year, and that's done absolutely amazing, really good. Sweet corn's been phenomenal. Normally we get 1 or 2 corns per plant. This year we're getting 3, 4 cobs per plant, and they're all coming out as full heads. Absolutely beautiful plants as well. Let me just fix this camera over on TikTok. It's not quite. There we go. Hopefully that should do it. Yeah. You're still welcome to come over. I do want to get out. And yeah, smash it. So Sean visited the burger place. Oh, wicked! What did you? And you liked it? Yeah, I really liked it. They made us some really nice burgers over there. I really enjoyed it. Jim, you're fine. Not at all. I need plants for my giant cabbage. It is huge. How big is it? How big is your giant cabbage? And are you gonna enter your cabbage into Malvern at the giant cabbage show and see how you get on? A lot of the usual giant cabbage growers aren't growing. I mean, Terry's not growing. Dean's not going to be entering any giant cabbages anywhere this year. A lot of people have struggled with them. I just started growing tomatoes and started to get flowers on. Do I take the flowers off? No, don't take the flowers off. Leave the flowers. Without the flowers, they're not gonna grow. So how old are your tomatoes? And Denise, where are you based? How long does it take to grow sweet potatoes from start to finish? I've never managed to grow a crop of sweet potatoes in the UK. They are over where you are in Florida. They should grow as a perennial. So if you grow your sweet potato plants, they should grow as a perennial vine across the ground and leaving tubers everywhere they settle. So what they'll do is they'll crawl across the ground, they'll settle, they'll put some tubers out, they'll put some roots out and put some tubers out, and then the next place where the vine spreads and it sets root again, it'll root and put some tubers out, and it'll keep growing like that as a perennial. So you should be able to continuously, once you get a patch of sweet potatoes established, where you are, hopefully you should be able to get a continuous harvest of sweet potatoes. But exactly how long it takes from the beginning to the end, I couldn't tell you, because I've just not managed to get them to grow over here and get a crop of sweet potatoes. I've got a crop of sweet potato leaves, but no sweet potato plants. And sweet potato leaves are edible as well, so you can use them like spinach. My sweet corn was eaten by squirrels, but only got 3 cobs. We've had a wicked sweet corn harvest. I think we just picked about 20 cobs just now. So we're going to have a little bit of a sweet corn roasting after this live. So Ted Man over on TikTok's asking, did you get any gourd? Oh, we got loads. So so far I've harvested about 20. I've picked another couple today. So yeah, so alhamdulillah, bottle gourds are doing fantastic this year. What I expected was them to do much better, because it was perfect. It was really hot. It was that lack of water has just affected everything, and because we do use the hose pipe when we really need to, but even when you've got the hose pipe, you just can't match a good rainfall. So if you're just getting flowers now over in Wigan, if you might want to think about if they're outside, you might want to think about trying to get some protection over them over the next few months, because you're going to get green tomatoes set in, and you want those tomatoes to be able to ripen, so get some protection over them. If they're in a greenhouse, then hopefully you should be able to get tomatoes all the way till the end of October. as long as we don't get a hard frost. It's been a strange but good year for growing in so dry here since yeah, absolutely, Jim. I completely agree with that. So Tedman's asking, how's the roof? The roof's almost finished. I said it was finished, but I had another look, and there's one tile, a ridge cut, where it joins the hip. It's just quite not, the cut's not perfect. So I'm going to get up there tomorrow and give it a little trim. The weather was too funky today. We had thunderstorms, lightning, rain, sun, everything in between. So it wasn't good to go up there today. But guys, if you're over on TikTok or whichever stream you're coming in on, hit that like for me as you're coming in. That'd be really good. I'm not going to enter it, but it's surprisingly big. I will have to measure it. The thing is, if you enter it into one of those competitions, you get free tickets into the show because you're a shower rather than just someone who's visiting. So if for nothing else, enter it for that reason. Icky, hope you're keeping well. And I've rolled from Huzzy N, hope you're keeping well. What's the best way to kill tree stumps? So probably the best way to kill a tree stump is use a stump grinder. Just you can hire stump grinders nowadays from a lot of plant hire shops. Just hire a stump grinder and grind it out, and it'll leave you some nice wood in the ground, and just let that rot in place. The Smashbox, I think it was called. You get a few different. Oh yes, Sean. Now you're talking. Watermelon really doing well, and Komodo dragon chili. Yeah. Are you on our Facebook group? If you're on our Facebook group, share your pictures on our Facebook group. That'd be good. Simplified gardening, Tony. How are you doing, mate? Thank you very much for coming in. Hope everything's good with you. So what veg have you done better than usual this year and worse? So all the brassica types have done really poor. Sweet corn has been fantastic. Aubergines have been absolutely phenomenal. Chilies have done really good, but surprisingly, they're only just starting to ripen. Yeah, so I mean, they're really heavy croppers. Every plant is just laden with chilies, but they're just starting to ripen. So I've seen people who took plants from me, and theirs were ripening a good few weeks ago. But beetroot, I think I've got a single beetroot this year. Normally I grow enough beetroot and then I pickle it, and then I've got enough to last me for my packed lunches for the rest of the year. But this year I haven't got a single beetroot. What else? Kohlrabi are tiny. My cabbages were absolutely horrible. Yeah, so a lot of the salad type leaves, they did really bad. But tomatoes have been absolutely fantastic as well this year. We've been getting, every few days we're bringing in bowls full of tomatoes. So loads of them are just getting lobbed into the freezer as they are, and then we'll pull them out of the freezer and just use them for sauces and stuff. And that's ignoring all the tomatoes that I'm munching whenever I'm walking about in the garden. Pamela from Glasgow, hope you're keeping well. Thanks very much for coming in. Howie, how are you doing, mate? Thank you very much for coming in. So Jim saying beetroot, carrots, early spuds were great. Corn hit and miss. Parsnips never germinated. Cabbages and Brussels look good. See, that's the thing. Parsnips are one of those notorious plants to get germinated. So one of the best ways of germinating parsnips is chitting the seeds before you plant them. So on a damp tissue, chit the seeds, and once they've established themselves on a damp tissue, then go and transplant them into the ground. Ginger, how are you doing? Hope you're keeping well. I'm still pulling tons of tomatoes in. Yeah. Tomatoes have just done fantastic. I was having a munch of tomatoes from outside, and I grow most of my tomatoes outside. I grow a few tomatoes inside, but most of my tomatoes are grown outside. Simply because all my inside space is taken by my tropical plants, my hyacinth beans, especially my chilies. But my tomatoes outside have been absolutely fantastic. Same tomatoes have been great. I think it's been it's every year is one of those things that some plants do better than others, and tomatoes have been phenomenal this year, I think. So let's see. I'm well, and it's a pleasure to be here. My best to you. Thanks, Howie. Hope your garden's doing good and your growing season's going really well. So, Iki courgette Chapman Hodu bad this year. Beetroot, tomato, aubergine, sweet corn, chili carrots, watermelon. See, watermelon's one that I've never managed to grow. Which variety of watermelon did you grow? I've got this one pumpkin plant, and it's just taken over half my garden. It's the biggest pumpkin plant I've ever seen. It's got, I think, 2 pumpkins on it, and they're not huge. They're that sort of size, just smaller than a football. But it's taken over half my garden. I've never seen a pumpkin plant that sort of size. It's huge. Obviously, some of the giant pumpkin growers, they grow big plants, but this guy, for me in my garden, is absolutely huge. I don't know what's happened to the majority of my other pumpkins and other squash, because I walk around the garden and all I've got is uchuki curry. They're everywhere. All over the garden they're there. So I don't know what's happened with the rest of them. Add tomato and onion fritters with a side of fresh tomatoes from our lunch at work. Tomato and onion fritters. What?
I go to reception.
You go to reception. So
I have Minecraft toys.
So Zaki started school this week.
And I have Minecraft toys.
Yeah, everyone started back at school this week. So my eldest started first day at high school. And this one first day at reception, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So my Scotch bonnet chilies have had a sticky residue on them. Is it normal? Could it be pollination from the flowers?
Hey, Yama.
See, there's a couple of things. Exactly. So there's a couple of things with the sticky residue. First of all, check for slug slime.
Hey, Papa.
That's one of the.
Hey, Papa.
Hello. That's one of the most common causes. Then you've got sometimes the flower. Actually, I'm going to show it in Sunday's video. What can happen is the flower can get wet, and it can stick to the chili, and then as the chili dries and expands, the flower sort of rubs along the chili or forms a ring around the chili. Sometimes that can melt. If it's damp, then that can sort of disintegrate, and you're left with some kind of sticky brown residue. Sometimes it can harden up and turn into a crust and deform your chilies. So that's one of the things that I actually discuss in Sunday's video. Sugar baby watermelons, that's the variety that I managed to get growing. White onions were really good, but red onions bolted and spring onions non-existent. Jim, my onions were absolutely pathetic this year. But the problem with my onions, the cause of the problem for my onions was my chickens. My chickens ate most of my onions. I had some really impressive seedlings. Chickens just demolished them. I managed to save a handful. The ones that I grew from seed were really good. I put some bulbs in as sort of emergency backups, and they were just really poor. I didn't even get my money's worth back on the bulbs, so yeah. So yeah, Zacky's big. He's getting into a big boy now. So Quercus Robo. My pumpkin plants have just kept growing and growing and growing, about 15 meters long so far. I don't know. That's one of the things about this plant. It's just there's just one plant that's just grown bigger than I've ever seen a plant grow in my garden. I get big plants; they grow well. They grow to a good few meters. Um, and we get even the blue hubbards. You know, last year we grew some good blue hubbards, and they grow really well. We get some blue hubbard squash, but I've never seen a plant as big as this in my garden. Any growing the long chilies this year? Mine are really hot. I've never had them with much heat before. I'm growing. That's another thing that I want to show on Sunday's video. So I think I've got a good few chilies that are about a foot long. Yeah, some nice spaghetti chilies. I know you sent me those longhorns, and I never managed to get them germinated in time. But I'm definitely going to be sowing them again pretty soon for next year. The same problem with young blackbirds. What problem? Tony. It's been a really strange year this year. How's your book getting along? How's your second book getting along? Uh, oh, same problem. Okay, same problem with young blackbirds as you have with your chickens. Yeah. Um, my winter squash have done amazingly too. Never grown them before. Um, and fear this hot summer will spoil me for future years. See, I think you'll do well. Winter squash do well. Um, Depending on your space, some of the smaller varieties of squash do better. Which ones did you go for this year? Um, I don't know what happened to my butternut squash. I sowed loads. I gave loads of plants away. I must have cocked up with my labeling. And then when I went away to Bangladesh, I planted loads out before I went. And then when I got back, they'd been eaten by slugs while I was away. So I lost loads of plants, and we fell quite far behind there. Um, it's written and starting Tony's on fire at the minute. Look at him. He's on absolute fire at the minute. This is amazing, Tony. We're gonna have a mega star with us, in our ranks very soon. If this guy doesn't get on his own TV program soon, then yeah, that's gonna be an injustice, I think. So can you still germinate and grow chili seedlings now over winter for next year? Then, see, what I tend to do is tend to start late November, mid sort of December time. I start my chili seeds, and then I grow them under grow lights and then they're the ones that I'll be planting out early next year into pots and keeping them growing. Um, so I've never germinated them this early before. It was an experiment that I wanted to try last year. I wanted to try growing them, getting them started in summer and keeping young plants over winter. What I might do is I've got some really young plants that would some stunted dwarfy type plants. I might just try and winter them in the house, or move a load of them to my office and try and overwinter them there. And then that way we'll be able to keep them growing, see how they do. One of the things that I'm worried about this year is with the cost of living going up, keeping those grow lights on extra. Yeah, so that's one of the things that might put me off the chili growing this year, or early chili growing this year, in the same way that I normally do it. You can still grow chilies in November to February, but yeah, exactly, yeah. And with the cost of living, it's going to be with the prices going up on electricity and gas. Yeah, keeping lights on, I think, is going to be hard. You've got a pancake on your head, mate. Dean, well done. Very clever. Yeah, you're absolutely hilarious, mate. You're absolutely hilarious. My Uchuki curry didn't germinate. See, mine did really well. I know. There's some squash that I've planted a few times as well that just didn't germinate. Um, yeah. Which ones were there? There were some surprisingly with James Wong's picture on them. I can't remember which ones they were, but they didn't germinate. My Muscat of Provence this year didn't germinate either, because they're really nice squash. They're one of the really, really, really tasty squash. We grew them last year. We got some really good sized ones, and they were absolutely delicious. Really tasty, really sweet. But this year they just I haven't got any at all growing. I do mine around Christmas from seed. I'm going to try taking cuttings this month and as an experiment. See, that's what I normally do. I normally, around the second week of August, is when I start planting my chilies and getting them to grow on. I'm getting solar panels fitted. What sort of solar setup have you gone for? I'm not sure about Malvern. I don't think so. I don't think I'll be going this year. Life's just been too hectic to be able to get away. What are the dates for it? Let's see. Get battery storage as much as you can, as much as you can afford. See, Jim, I think you were yeah, we were talking on Facebook, weren't we, about solar panels, and just the setup cost is just so expensive. It's just really expensive. I've been trying to get a PV and battery system, but I can't get a company to call me back for love nor money. See, there's loads of these companies that advertise sort of solar grants and solar technology, or free solar panels, and there's so much clickbait out there. As soon as you click on it and you go in, and as soon as you go into it, by the time you're getting up to a quote exactly what you're talking about 15k for it. Just got a 15k loan for it, but I can't spend it. See, as soon as you take out a loan for that sort of money, you want to get it invested straight away, because the interest starts accruing as soon as you take that money out. 8 panels is as much as it will fit on my roof. Can afford panels and batteries just now, so only have panels. See, that's the other thing. Have you got a good south-facing window? South-facing roof, sorry. The problem I've got is I've got a dormer on my house, so the side that faces south, is flat. So if I want to put solar panels and I want to angle them on the flat roof, then I have to apply for planning permission, because the solar panels will go above the original pitch of the house, and because they go above the original pitch of the house, I've changed the structure of the house, and therefore I need planning permission. Yeah, that's a problem. Local council often run a deal with a company called Solar. See, I saw Solar Together. I looked at what you were doing, and Solar Together, the way they're sort of working is, rather than giving grants out, they're just they're bulk buying, so you can get a cheaper deal if you can get enough people involved. But the way some of these solar panel companies advertise it is as though direct government funding and a lot of clickbaity stuff. Excuse me. I'm lucky I have perfect credit score, so only got 2.8 interest rate. Mine's southwest. See, my house is perfectly south facing. Or, well, pretty much it's southwest. But we'd get a lot of good sun, but it's all flat roof, so we'd struggle on that. And because the flat roof's facing south, the pitched roof is facing north, and it'd be a waste to get it on there. I had the interest on any loan negates any positives from panels, so I'm what I can afford. I'm southeast facing on back of see, this is why I'm playing that feeling that you're talking about. I thought about getting in maybe a wind turbine, but the sort of wind turbines I was thinking was, the little ones that are sort of that you see on sort of work sites, the portable mini ones, those kind of things, and getting those attached to the house. But as soon as you go looking for that sort of setup, the ones that they're coming up with are massive, huge things. The industrial size wind turbines, and you can't put one of them into our garden. It'll be crazy. But AJ, thanks very much for that super chat. There's a cup of tea coming from that. Is that a dragon? The dragon's giving me a cup of tea. Fantastic. Oh, brilliant. What are you thinking about getting an extension on the back of our house and then looking at solar? I want an extension. I'd love an extension. What sort of thing are you trying to get on yours? Are you just going for a 1-story or a 2-story wraparound type of thing? What I'd want is sort of an L-shaped one, so side, back, and up. So we get a bit more downstairs space and a bit more upstairs space. But for something like that, especially with the cost of materials now, it'll cost. It's just way out my budget. We're looking at just on the roof. When I did the work on the roof, I got quoted around £7,000 for someone to come in and do the roof, and then one guy came in and he gave me a quote for 1,000 tiles. That I'd need 1,000 tiles, and that's what just took me over the limit. That just really wound me up, because what I'd done is I'd gone over to our neighbour's roof and I'd counted every single tile on his roof, and it was roughly around 600. And this guy basically quoted me, double the material cost, so they can, take money from me for nothing. In the end of what I've done on the roof, I've used 630 tiles, something like that. And that's because I broke a load of tiles as well. But yeah, I think there's some really reliable, trustworthy tradesmen, and then there's some real rip-off artists. Just like what happened, I've been stung by him before when I got the dormer done on this house. They really did me in badly. I read that wind turbines don't work in residential areas because we don't get enough wind. What we get is turbulence. Does it turbulence? So doesn't turbulence still cause the fans to spin? Howie, you take care. We'll see you soon again. So Laura, wouldn't turbulence still cause the fans to spin though? Because where my garden is, because we're at the top of a hill and there's like these massive sycamore trees on one side and ash trees on the other side, we've got this, it's like a wind tunnel, so the wind sweeps up the hill and just sweeps through our garden. So I was thinking that would be the perfect spot for a wind turbine. It's something vaguely green and fruit shaped. Is the most appropriate thing I could find. You thought it was an avocado? I thought it looked like a dragon. Anyone tried the portable solar panel and battery storage generator setup, thinking about getting a few to use in the garden garage? See, that's the other option, because the portable solar panels, they're not the thick glass solar panels. They're more like a plastic flexi type of solar panel, aren't they? Yeah. What don't they call conservatories anymore? The posh word now is orangeries. I think orangeries and have a proper roof, don't they? I think that's the difference, is it? David Carlisle, how are you doing, mate? Long time no see. Hope you're keeping well. Just one story. To make the kitchen bigger and no more open plan downstairs. And then more open plan downstairs. Like number 3. David, thanks, mate. Thanks, appreciate that. So 28 viewers. If the rest of you wouldn't mind hitting that like, that'd be good. Missed a bit there. My solar system was under 9k by accident or chance. See, 9k for a solar system. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. For now, my neighbour had his done. Just when I moved here. So what, 10, 12 years ago, and I think he paid 3 or 4k at the time. But he hasn't got the battery system and all that. He's just got a feed. He had a feed-in tariff. It's great that you did it yourself. I got quoted 14k to build my new studio in the garage. I built it myself for less than 5. See, there's loads of labour, but as well is there's loads you're saving on the materials, and you're not wasting materials as well. When you're doing it yourself, you're keeping a track of materials. Very lucky to. It's all about who you know when it comes to contract. See, AJ, that's what you're saying. Do you know, like, I thought I knew this guy, right? There's this guy who did my dormer extension or my dormer conversion, and I thought I knew him. He went to mosque. He had a big beard. He looked like he was a really religious guy. I've known him ever since I moved to Leeds. And then, so I gave him the contract to do my job, and within weeks he took my roof off and just left it. And it was in that 2009 when we had probably the wettest July or June on record, and it just rained all the way through my house, and the rest of the ceilings collapsed in the house. And then he wanted to charge me for fixing the ceilings that he'd damaged because of all the rainfall. And then he did things like changing certain to adjust the dormer. He had to lower the middle floors, and then he was like, "Oh, I didn't put that in the price, so I've got to charge you a few grand extra for that. I've got to change these tiles as a few grand extra for that." And from his quite competitive quote, he'd gone to way higher than the most expensive quote that I'd had. Yeah, so it's one of those things that just he really did me in. But I was quite young then. I was a lot younger, and I was quite naive as well. But you learn from there. I mean, there'd be some days where I'd come up, I'd take days off work and I'd labour for him. And when he knew that I was going to go and labour for him, he won't bring his own labour in, a cheeky bugger. So I'd be working for him for free. Well, I'd actually be paying him to work for him. So Faraz, assalamu alaikum wa alaikum assalam. I hope you're keeping well, brother. Thanks very much for coming in. Definitely been a long time. Had to watch a Charles Downing advert to get it. Oh. Well, at least it was something relevant. Apparently not. I was looking wind tunnel, but no, should only look at wind turbines if you're exposed farms, etc. No buildings around. Okay. We get really bad wind. Well, what I thought was we get wind. But if you're saying that it's like turbulence, then I don't know. The way I see it is that it costs 5 years, and then that free electric, because it will get a massive battery too. There's this one guy I follow on TikTok, and what he's been doing is he loads up his batteries. He spent like 25 grand or something on his setup, but he loads up his batteries, and then whenever he notices a spike in electricity prices, then he dumps them all back into the system, and he's making like 300 quid a month on generating electricity after all the stuff that he's used. So that's absolutely awful. Yeah, I mean, I was quite naive, and he took advantage of it. A local mosque in Birmingham just got an energy bill for 250,000. What have they been doing in there? That's got to be it's either a massive mosque, or they've been leaving the lights on a little bit too long. Escobar, you live and learn with builders, unfortunately. Yeah, see, sometimes when we had some plaster work done a couple of years ago, and this plasterer came in really competitively priced, an absolutely amazing guy, really good character, really nice. I was working in the house and decorating while he was plastering, and he was showing me little tips and tricks on how to get more out of my paint. And I was fixing little things, and he was just giving me little tips on or giving me a hand extra beyond what he'd agreed to do. So yeah, that's one of the things. You're right. With some of these contractors, they're absolutely phenomenal, and some guys are just they're crooks. Yeah, getting trading can be a real. See, that's why I did it myself on the roof. I thought it's scary, but I can do it. That's what I'm thinking about with this log burner. I've still got the scaffolding up, so I could potentially get the log burner fitted and screw the the outside chimney in onto the chimney, onto next door's chimney, and then just leave it there. If you learn how to use the apps that come with your PV system, you can buy cheap and sell at a better price. Just remember, an average house 10 to 15 kilowatt hours a day, but the bill for your building work, See, Jim, what the guy did, the way he did Mardoma, it was absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely, he just really exploited me. I think that's what I think. So we've got a few people coming in on TikTok. Someone saying, "Can you shout my girlfriend Courtney?" Just did, mate. So we've got gardening back in Greenland Masjid, massive Victorian building. They open it to homeless, so big. Okay, that makes a bit more sense. That makes a little bit. Yeah, that makes a bit more sense. Am I using Restream right now? No, I'm live streaming straight through YouTube. I think businesses aren't capped and have to sign up every year for long contracts for energy in advance. Businesses aren't capped, and no, businesses aren't capped. They're just yeah. Sometimes the brokers can get them some really good deals though, but sometimes they get some really, because it's not the same suppliers as domestic users. So there are quite a few different, the different suppliers of that provide to. You're distracting me, mate. See, I'm trying to talk, right? I'm trying to talk, and I've got this guy peeking in from behind the door, taking my focus away.
Impossible.
Yeah. How are you streaming on TikTok? I'm using 2 devices. So something really. I'm not. Yeah, you know me. I go for the simplest option. So I'm streaming off my phone onto TikTok and off my laptop onto YouTube.
I was doing big brain thinking.
What do you think of Charles? Do you mean the king, the new king, or
Never heard of him?
Jim, you go and enjoy your dinner. We're going to be signing off very soon as well. So have a good evening, and I'll speak to you again soon. And thanks for all the advice on the solar panels as well. So right now, don't crop me now. Someone else is going as well. All right, you take care. Have a good evening. Restream will make it easy to stream to lots of different platforms. Okay. Laura, you have a good evening. Thanks for coming in and joining us once again. You take care, and we'll see you again soon. The price of logs is going up, and will keep going up as they can't sell them where to be kiln dried. Yeah, that's the other problem, isn't it? That's one of the things that I was talking to Gary about. That just a lot of people are going to be switching to alternative energy supplies, whether it's log burners, whether it's solar panels, and because the demand's going to go up, the price is going to go up, and yeah, they're just gonna take, they're going to cash in while they can. So yeah. Toss Stones, how are you doing? Long time no see. Hope you're keeping well. Message my cabbage. What's going on? You're gonna message your cabbage? Measure you? Okay, there you go. I'm with you. Mimi Susu, you take care, and I'll see you again soon. We'll be back next week. Yeah, Tony, exactly. There's going to be people that are just going to be cashing in absolutely ripping it. Not just taking it, they're going to be ripping it. So do I ever think I'm trying a straw fruit plant here? If I could get a cutting, yes, I would. We have 2 log burners, but himself is a tree surgeon, so all good. Oh, wicked! Where are you based? I might come and steal some logs from you. I'm struggling so badly to get hold of wood chips at the minute. I think it's been over 2 years, more than 2 years since I've had a wood chip delivery. So I'm really struggling. Loads of tree surgeons promised me they're going to drop it off. No one ever turns up anymore. A few years ago, they'd be queuing up, to drop stuff off to me. But nowadays, no one just wants to drop anything off anymore. So, yeah, where are you based? I'd love some wood chips. So, I think that, yeah, it's gonna be a few difficult years coming up. Icky, you take care. Have a good evening. Have a good rest of the weekend. That's because they're probably selling to compost companies who are trying to replace peat. Abergavenny, there's a market for wood chip right now, power plant, so a lot goes there. Or they, yeah, I think, yeah, so lots being sold. Nitin, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Thanks very much for coming in. Hope everything's good with you. Hope your family's well. Right. We've just passed the 9 o'clock. Well, yeah, we just passed the 9 o'clock mark, and we've got quite a few people that have decided to go as well. So I'm going to call it a night. Thanks very much, everyone, for tuning in. We'll be back here. We're going to be back live every Friday now. So, yeah, see you next week. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.